Wow. Look at, how is he doing that? That technique is unreal. I'm going to need more tissues here. Oh, my word. Oh, the more you look at it, the better it gets. Oh, hello. It's not what it looks like, okay? Look, I cut my arm, so I've been clearing up my arm a little bit, but the youth intake came through, so I've got that on the monitor. Let me tell you now, I wasn't told this was going to be a golden generation. It's a bloody good set of players, though. Welcome back to Racing. Let's get into this. What else was I going to be doing, everyone? Look, youth intake blood. Some of you, filthy-minded. Get out of here. What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 13 of Park 2 Primera. Here with Racing, we are back, and today it's the last episode of the season. We are top of the league. There are 2 games remaining. Nothing is for certain just yet, but I'm going to hope today we can secure our safe passage into the Spanish second division. And well, if we look at the top of the table, you can see how close it is. Pontevedra 4 points behind us. The title is ours. Pretty much of a win today. The goal difference is pretty huge between the 2 teams. Of course, if we bottle the first match, if we fail to win against, I'm trying to remember who we're playing, against Burgos, there's a second match today and we get a longer episode. I'm sure there's some of you secretly hoping deep down inside that is what might transpire. For me personally, I'm hoping we win against Burgos, nice safe passage through, and there's not a lot of drama. Worth noting that Burgos beat Racing in their final game of the season in real life this year to eliminate them from promotion contention. So this is a little bit of a grudge match. I would absolutely love to beat them to avenge the real Racing, even if it is only in a video game. So in terms of matches since we last here, we've played a decent chunk of games. I wasn't exactly sure how the end of this season was going to play out. In truth, didn't really play out the way I expected it to, because whilst we've slipped up, the 2 big teams behind us have also really had a drop-off in form, which has meant that we've not really lost our footing despite slipping up a little bit. Anyway, of course, Pontevedra and Ponferradina were our games last time out. We then took on Herrera, who are already relegated now. We beat them 3-0. Good to see Cedric grab a brace in this one. We then beat Deportivo and Bilbao Athletic. Both games 2-0 wins, 2 clean sheets. Great to see. Kabir grabbed a goal in this one, although he did get injured immediately following it. He is on a road to recovery, a pulled calf muscle. He is a little touch and go, shall we say, going into today's game. Not sure just yet if I'm willing to start him. Anyway, following on from those 3 wins and 3 clean sheets, it all kind of went down the drain for a little bit. Against Salamanca, we drew 1-1. Pablo Torre scored for us in the very first minute in this game. We then conceded later on in the first half, and there was no cutting edge beyond that. 1-1 it finished. Disappointing performance. Kabir, as you can see, got injured right at the end of this game. The only silver lining really being that Torre performed well. Not such a silver lining, maybe even a storm cloud. Something's happened in training. I don't know what's happened. Okay, he had a little tight calf injury at the end of last month, but quite what's happened with his attributes, I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with that injury. It's like he's learned how to concentrate and forgotten how to do everything else, which I'm not sure is a particularly good trade-off. Anyway, after that game against Salamanca, we went into a game here, you can see against Sabadell, and this was a game that I really thought we were going to win. This was the first time all year where I think we've truly been humbled. We were just outplayed here. So as you can see, they took their first goal from the penalty spot. Disappointing to give it away, but I felt like we had loads of time to get back into the match, so I wasn't going to panic. And well, we scored. Yeah, 20 minutes into the game, you can see here Carassa at right back scoring. He's been really good this year. Unfortunately, he has got a season-ending injury, so it's the last we're going to see of Carassa on a pitch, these highlights here. Bit of a fortuitous bounce there. It fell to Ray. He made it 2-1, and then they scored from the penalty spot again, and it finished 3-1. We were a bit underwhelming in this game. There was plenty of highlights, plenty of chances in our favour, but their chances were, well, more significant. Of course, the 2 penalties boost their XG quite significantly. But as I already mentioned, this was the first game all year where I kind of look at it and go, we just look really, really bad. Just looking at Sabadell, it's not like they're a particularly special team. They're currently in 9th place. They're not going to get promoted this year. They've not even had the craziest of form as of late. But for whatever reason, they took issue with us. And I'm a little bit scared of them. I'm glad that we're not going to hopefully at least be in the same division as them next year because I don't want a bogey team. I don't need a bogey team. So there was one more league game we played in this run of fixtures, and it was against Harrow. We won this one 4-0, a good little performance. Just Andy missed a penalty. Bicho took one a little bit later. Of course, he scored it. And Foster also grabbed a goal. This year has really been demoted to a squad role. Obviously, we've had some pretty good strikers like Kabir come into the team, Mahika as well. As a result, he's kind of fallen down the pecking order. I tried to give him opportunities. I've tried to bring him on off the bench when I can. Truth be told, he's been pretty underwhelming both when we've started him and when we've brought him on. As a result, I've not used him nearly enough. It was, however, nice to see him get a goal in this one here. So since you were last here, we have also had a youth intake, and whilst it wasn't labelled as his golden generation, some really exciting players here. I think the most exciting of them all is Javier Garcia. He is 15 years old, a right-footed, left-sided player, maybe a potential trequartista of the future. He's a bit of a mercenary, got to be wary of that. He could stab me in the back if I'm not too careful, but he looks really, really good as a natural creative player. He's only 15 years old as well. And in fact, there's a few quite talented players in this bunch. We've got Abel here, who is, well, he's really quick and he can dribble with the ball. There's a lot more that he needs to round off to his game, but if he can find his potential, maybe he could be a good player for us. In truth, you know, a 4.5-star potential player is probably going to be low-level La Liga in a couple of seasons' time. I'd like to think that, I don't know, in 4 years we'll be playing in the top flight of Spain. Of course, the star ratings are all relative to where we are now. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on these players. If they develop, fantastic. A player like Abel, I'll be honest, he looks good. The star rating gets me excited when I look at his polygon and everything else. And the low determination. It's not a particularly pretty sight. Now, perhaps the other big standout player who I'm particularly excited about in this group is Ivan. He is a centre mid. There is a really part of me that wants to train him to play right back. Again, unambitious personality. We seem to have an issue with the personalities in our squad, but there is something in him that makes me think I should train him as a wing back. I'm not doing it yet. Should I train him as a wing back? Am I crazy? Am I losing the plot? I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. I think he is a wing back in the making. He just needs to learn to play it. He's so well-rounded. I don't know. I like the look of him. He's 15. He's also inconsistent. I say I like the look of him, and then I just mention all these negatives. He could be good. Let's keep the faith. Anyway, there's one or two more players I'll just show really quick. We've got Angel here. Very similar in the sense that he's super quick. Got a few technicals, but I think I've got a few question marks over truly how useful he'll be. There's also Arca here, who is a striker who could end up being rather good. Fairly determined, good consistency, 4-star potential. You know, like, could develop, probably won't develop if I'm being completely honest, but I know people would be mad if I didn't show the players with 4-star potential. And last but not least, of those 4-star potential players, we have Esteban Martinez, who is, well, frankly, a bit bizarre. Again, bit of an athlete with good physicals and who can run and dribble. The vision of a mole, dare I say. 4 flair, 5 passing, 7 vision. It's not exactly your typical creative midfielder, really. But again, might develop. I'll keep you in the loop. I don't feel that optimistic about him, to be honest. But anyway, the big focus of today is this. Securing the league, maybe even winning the title with this match here. There was a slim chance that we could actually win the league in our previous game, but I had faith in Ponferradina and Pontevedra to get the wins to keep it to this day here. They managed to pull it off, so round of applause to them. But ideally, we'd like to see them slip up. You can see here, Ponferradina are going to be taking on Nastic. Nastic, of course, the team who we got Kabir from, our star striker. Since we signed him, they've played way better, so Nastic, you're welcome. I don't know if they spent the £100,000 wisely or if they just found a vein of form. We're going to hope that they're going to be good today. Elsewhere, the other team to keep an eye on is Pontevedra, and they're there against Conella, directly below. I couldn't see them for a moment. You would probably expect them to win this game, but even if they win it, if we win our game, we are guaranteed to finish above them because there's only one game left of the season for, both teams. Our last game is going to be against Nastic. I'm hoping it's not going to come down to that. If we can get things wrapped up early. Plan for the end of today's episode is to do a big debrief for the season, talk about my hopes, dreams, aspirations, where I want to be in 5 years if we bottle this first game. there won't be any aspirations. There will just be panic about the next match and the prospect of bottling promotion again. But in terms of the players who are fit, I think this is the team we're going to go with today. Kabir's coming back from injury. I'm not going to rush him back. We're going to have him as an option on the bench. That means that Cedric is going to play out on the right-hand side for us. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 games, so he's looked pretty good. And Mojica is going to move into the striking department. He had a really good run of scoring goals. He's been awful as of late. It's a little bit of a gamble to play him ahead of Kabir. In fact, he's been so bad, the board are actually disappointed in his recent performances. They are that upset with how bad he's been. They're letting me know about it. They probably hate the fact I'm going to play him today. I have also just noticed the board have failed me on repairing the club's finances, which is probably a fair assessment. I mean, we're just paying off the debt. It's not like I'm overspending. There is £3 million of debt at the club right now. As I said, we're spending within the wage budget. It'd be kind of interesting, should we, get promoted, what kind of money are we even going to have next year? There's a real chance that they just don't give me any new wage budget. I didn't realise quite how bad this had got. But you know what? Like all my problems in life, I'm just going to pretend it's not there. We're going to not check the bank account. It's going to be fine. Out at right back, we've got Ceballos playing for us. The rest of the team is fairly standard. Bicho, hoping for a big performance from him. Torre is good to go. In fact, fitness across the board is quite decent. We had a week's break between these 2 matches. We actually had kind of a 2-week break since the last league game. So much so that I actually organised a game against the B team just to try and keep fitness levels up. I'm hoping that's going to have worked in our favours, and I'm hoping that we're going to win this final game of the year here in a convincing manner. I feel like this year, in terms of episodes, we've covered a lot of the big, difficult games we've had. By comparison, this is the kind of game where we should be flexing our muscles against one of the mid-table teams in the division, really showing what we're all about. Hopefully we're going to live up to that billing. As well, Lopez has the ball and plays it forward to Mojica. He is going to know the board of directors are looking at him on the pitch, scowling at him, expecting him to do better today. Hopefully he's going to live up to the hype as he's through on goal. And, well, he is going to live up to the hype. Beat Cho with an absolutely insane ball. The Trequartista, I don't know how he's seen that. How has he seen that pass? That is absolutely just redonkulous. Is redonkulous a cool word? I don't know. That was a cool pass. The finish, I mean, he's just smashed it head height at the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper's dodged it, but I'm not going to complain. 1 goal up inside 10 minutes. At the moment, a little bit interesting. We could win the league today. I mean, all we can do is win, I suppose. Let's not get distracted away from that objective. Di Vicente with it here. Out to Ceballos, who, of course, is coming in, due to the injuries at the right-back position. He got a hat-trick earlier on in the season, Ceballos, at right-back. Hasn't had nearly enough opportunities. I'm almost expecting him to get a goal here. Just Andy to Cedric. Takes it down well. Slots it away. Another fine pass from deep. From this kind of near side of the pitch. Switching it over. This time it finds its way to Cedric. Who, you know what? He might not be the first name on the team sheet anymore. But he's still a very, very good player for us who we've been able to rely on this year. His run time to perfection. Opens up his foot. Slots it into the bottom corner. And I think the promotion party can commence. I would not mind a third before half-time, players. Don't let me down. Let's get a third. Pablo to just Andy. Lopez, Bicho, should score it, does score it. Scintillating football. That was so good to watch. And with that, Bicho gets his 25th goal of the season. Now, granted, about 50 of those are penalties. That's exaggeration. 20 of them are penalties, probably. That was a good one though, wasn't it? A rare goal scored from open play with his foot. Into the bottom corner. Makes it 3-0. Right, I've gone for a very quick kind of autopilot team talk there. I've not even thought about it. I've just praised the lads. Beat Show, oh my word. Oh my word. Pontevedra 2-0 up in their game. Ponfradino winning their game. I mean, it might not be a title celebration today, but I think one thing is for certain. This game is destined to finish emphatically in our favour. Bicho's now on for a hat-trick. That was an insane free kick. I think with an hour gone, it's about time that we make some changes. So I'm going to take off Di Vicente and bring in Lopez. Of course, Lopez was one of the products of last year's youth intake. He's actually got a fair few minutes this year since the winter break. He's flourished under them as well. You know what? I'm going to make a double change. I think this is going to be Gurria's first ever senior appearance, everyone. So a big moment at the club. Again, another prospect of last year's intake. Another very, very good centre mid, though. Exciting to see him play alongside Lopez. One is a creative type. Guerrero is definitely more of a kind of defensive midfielder, but that kind of suits our team rather nicely, I think. I mean, hopefully now we're not going to go on to lose the game, otherwise I look like an idiot bringing in the kids. But no, 4-0 up. This feels like a good opportunity to give them some minutes and time to shine. If you're wondering, in the other game, Pontevedra are only 2-1 up. Unfortunately, Ponferradina are now 2 goals up in their game, so I'm not going to be winning the league today. Not officially, although I think there would be like a 20 goal difference swing required, so I don't want to celebrate it too prematurely. I think we are going to win the league here today, although we've given away a penalty. Maybe we're about to ruin our goal difference here. Who is taking it for them? It's going to be Sol Berhon. Steps up, smashes it. Machedo, feel a bit bad for him, really. He's made some good stops from open play, and then we just give away a penalty. Just kind of make him face the firing squad. Unfortunately, on that occasion, he couldn't stop the shot. He's found the bomb corner. The guy has gone into the goal and pulled the ball out like something's going to change here. I don't think it is. And in fact, it's not. 4-1 it finishes. This is Burgos' final home game of the year, so they're doing a lap of honour. Not sure many of the fans are going to stick around after that performance for any kind of lap of honour. And, well, that is a very, very good win for us. And if I am not mistaken, that guarantees our promotion to La Liga 2, which is big. It's the first step on a little bit of a long adventure that we've got to go on here. I realise I'm assuming that the rule is goal difference. Oh, okay. The league sorting rule is results between teams. What is the results between teams? I've been assuming this whole time. I was wrong to do so. I can't believe that for the whole season I've been thinking it's goal difference when actually it's results between teams. The bizarre thing here is we actually beat them 2-1 at home and then lost 4-3 away. I have no idea if away goals are used in this. If they are used, we've got the better head-to-head. I'm going to work on the assumption that we've not been told we're champions yet that the head-to-head is considered a draw, in which case, as you can see here, it does go to goal difference. Okay, it is a little bit of an anticlimactic end in terms of late drama, because with the head-to-head, with the results between teams, the only way that we can't win the league is if we lose 7-0 and Ponferradina win 8-0. I don't want to speak too prematurely. I don't think that's going to happen. So the plan now is we are going to go forward a week. I'm going to play the Nastic game just off camera. We're going to come back for an end-of-season debrief. We've got the end-of-season awards, all the end-of-season meeting stuff in FM. I'm going to be christening my player of the year, my most improved player, my clubman. I also want to hear your kind of player awards down in the comments. I'll leave a template comment so you can copy it out and fill it in with the players of your choosing. But yeah, we're going to go forward a week. We'll see what kind of money we've got to spend, see what the squad's looking like. I can plot my plans for world domination, as of course we are now officially promoted. And well, I talked actually about the budgets. They're here. We have £6,000 to spend on the transfer budget. I mean, I'm assuming this isn't a bug like last time. I've seen this news inbox item before of being promoted and it was a lie. I think today it is actually happening, even if it's not quite settled in just yet. I've got a week to compose myself, calm myself. I might even go to bed and do the next bit in the morning because it's very, very late right now. I've lost my mind, everyone. But we've won the league. Kind of. Not yet. We will in a moment when I see you in a second. Let's go forward to that, shall we? Okay, you join me in the ending moments of the final game of the year. We won it 2-0 against Nastic, and I thought, I can't not have an episode like this and not show the trophy lift. It's like the best thing they added into Football Manager this year. The lads lining up for it. It's been a tough season, a slow start season. In the end, I think we found our footing, and of course, last year we were so close to getting into the promised land of the Spanish Second Division. Bitterly disappointed. We improved the team this year. We've come back stronger. And truth be told, I think we've been the best team in the league by a quite comfortable margin. I think, barring the bad luck we've had from injury on another day, we probably win it a little more convincingly than to be hoisting the trophy as we are on the final day of the season. Anyway, we have the keeper doing his cartwheel. The players are jubilant, and with that, we win. In the end, this was quite a good performance against Nastic. You can see in the end, Ponferradina, did they slip up? Did they not win? No, they won, right? They won 4-0. They did everything except slip up, Jack. Yeah, Ponferradina won 4-0. Pontevedra, I feel a bit sorry for them. They have finished 1 point behind Ponferradina. They won 3-1 on the final day of the year, but that was not enough. And, well, promotion is official. The title is official. The board are delighted. I'm delighted. We're crowned champions. We're sharing out £62,000 with the players. I'm glad that we have that money. to be able to share out. In terms of the wage budget, it's going to go up by about £15,000 for next year, so it's not a monumental raise. The financial status being insecure has me a little worried. Last year, of course, the board invested some money in overtime to help with the finances. They've not been doing that this year. There is a real chance that we're under transfer embargo for a period this summer, which might play a little bit of havoc with my transfer dealings. It's kind of getting to the point where I'm now sat thinking, maybe I need to make my moves as early as I can this year. Otherwise, well, we could find ourselves in a little bit of a pickle. Anyway, I think we should have the end of season ceremony in just a moment. It's always exciting, I feel like, in Football Manager to see the awards and stuff. And well, as you can see here, that glorious trophy, the Spanish Third Division title is ours. In terms of new arrivals this year, there's one man who kind of stepped up and filled very big boots. In the end, he scored 12 of 14 penalties. He got 23 goals in total in the league. Bicho signed on a freebie. Compared to his performance the previous year, he really stepped it up for us. A player who's got terrific talent. We've been playing him as a trequartista. It's a role he's super well suited to. I don't think you could make a better role for him. And, well, at the start of the year, we needed a Cejudo replacement. I think we found our Cejudo replacement. Of course, there was a fair few other players who joined us, like Mojica, who got 16 goals to his name. Kabir got 10 goals in that kind of second half of the year. Of course, he came in, had a few issues of injury, but shone a lot. Simeone for the Racing B team has done very, very well. The kind of player who is a bit unfortunate that I can't register him for our current league squad, although given how well he did in the B team, I mean, 27 assists and 16 goals in 38 games. Probably need to try and find a way to get him into the first team, or at least look to loan him out at a slightly more competitive level. It's worth noting that our B team currently playing kind of a league that doesn't exist. That will change over time. It probably won't be this coming year, but they can theoretically be promoted into the playable leagues once we move up. Of course, much like in real life, the B teams can't play in the same division as their actual team, so we need to get promoted to help them out a little bit. Anyway, let's go back to the award ceremony here. You can see Di Vicente had a good year. In terms of average ratings, though, it was Bicho's year. Carrasco looked really good on loan from Porto. 16 assists in 35. Bit of a shame that he got an injury to end the season, but I'd love to renew his loan. All in all, though, I feel like the transfers we did improved the team a lot, with the obvious exception of Andy Carroll. I don't want to talk about him. The board don't even have a reaction for him. There's just a blank box, which I think says it all, really. His contract expires at the end of the year. He won't be getting a new contract. I can reveal that as an exclusive here for you now. Anyway, in terms of end-of-season results, of course, we won the league, a B-, our overall achievement. Bicho was top goal scorer. 16,000 fans turning up to our games. That's a slight improvement on last year, which is always good to see. In terms of our results throughout the year, we started off fairly strong. We had a few little blips. Of course, this run of games here was really tough. Tricky away games against what ended up being the best teams at the top of the table. But from there, we really kicked on over October and into November. We found a winning streak. And again, in February, we looked really good. Those big wins against Ponferradina and also Pontevedra, they were really the moments where I truly believed, yes, we were going to get promoted this year. Anyway, if we look at moments to remember, the 4-1 win in the Copa del Rey definitely has to be up there. A 7-0 win against FC Andorra was great. And as you can see here, the Bicho goal, apparently that was goal of the season, that goal that we saw against Burgos when we won 4-1. I mean, it was a good free kick. I guess we've not had that many screamers this year, but goal of the season? Really? Oh, God, there's a button here that says the finances. That feels ominous. I guess we have to click it, don't we? Your success definitely helped the club's finances. We're £3 million in the red. I'm not sure about that. You can see here the sponsorship deals. There's no new ones, nothing major happening. All in all, kind of the money that we've made this year isn't too different to the previous year. Slight increase in corporate and hospitality and match day, but not nearly enough to help us out financially. We made some shirt sales. Bicho was the top seller, then Pablo, then the worst Andy. That's right, Andy Carroll, who was stripped of his squad number and never played after the 2 matches he played. He sold the most shirts. I like to believe that the shirts were just sold with his name on the back and just no number. No, just the name. He never got a number. He doesn't deserve the number. Anyway, you can see here in terms of how we lined up. This is the 11 that I suppose we played the most often. Of course, a few changes happened in the final third in January. But all in all, it was a very good team performance across the board. A team that were good at this level last year, hoped, one extra year, getting used to our play style, adding players in like Bicho, it was going to serve us well. I think we can safely say at this point, it did serve us quite well. Bicho won Fans Player of the Year. He also won Signing of the Year, Goal of the Year, Top Goal Scorer. Carrasco got most assists, which is nice to see. Bicho, highest average rating. In terms of record breakers, Bicho's up there. Cabilla's 4 goals in a single game ended up breaking a record. Carrasco up there. Machado, 14 clean sheets for him. For all of his wobbliness, the 20-year-old did actually look quite good this year. You can see overall he improved a lot as well, which does kind of make me want to keep playing him. Is that a stupid thing to say? He's not being flawless, but if he keeps improving at the rate he's improving, he could be a really, really good goalkeeper for us, who maybe can be our first choice for the next few years at the very least. Rafa Di Vicente set a record for the worst discipline, and Lopez became our youngest ever player, aged 16 and 50 days. History in the making. To struggle so badly at the start of the season and yet go on to get promotion is testament to the mentality of this club. I don't think our start was that horrific, was it? I mean, maybe it was worse than I realised. You can see here the Media Dream 11. I don't think there's too many complaints there. I mean, why is... Oh, this is the overall... Okay, I was thinking, why is Capani there? It's because it's the overall best 11. If we look at this here, of course, this is the combination of 2 years. Capani's up there. His loan, of course, expires at the end of the year. He'll be going back to Milan. Elsewhere, there is no Andy Carroll. So Hudo and Bicho on the same team kind of makes me feel warm and fuzzy. The kind of original and then the replacement. And he was a good replacement in the end, all in all. So in terms of club vision going into next year, apparently we need to play defensively solid football, play on the counter-attack, sell before we buy, and work within the transfer budget. I still need to try and repair the club's finances. The expectation is just try and stay up if we can. In terms of the finances, of course, we are paying off those big debts you can see here. We have, I think, 1 year left of paying off these debts. We've got to pay off £3.4 million more, which is quite a lot, even for us. But the good news is, after this next year, which is going to be a tough year, going up, but also not having any money really to improve, from there, it should start to get a bit simpler, I hope. We might actually be able to start spending some money on players. I say that. I mean, I spent money on Andy Carroll this year. I definitely didn't make wise decisions all the time. I'll hold my hands up and admit it. So expectations for the next season are very, very low. It's just a case of try and stay up. I don't know if I can tell them a mid-table finish. They'll get annoyed about that. Okay, I think this is the option. Basically saying, well, they're not getting promoted. If we sign some players, I think we can stay up. Okay, 5 people loved it. Everyone else hated it. Maybe that's unrealistic. They don't even think we're going to stay up this year. All but 5 players in my team don't believe in us. We'll talk about it after the holiday. I'm not making them any promises. Andy Carroll apparently is not very happy. I don't care. You're not here next year. Get out my face. Okay, so before we wrap things up today, I want to give out my personal awards to the team. We're going to have a best player. I don't think that one's going to be too hard to guess. We're going to have a most improved player, and we're going to have a clubman. The clubman award goes to a player who maybe wasn't a standout player on the pitch, but they've been a loyal servant to the team. So player of the season for me, I don't think it's a shock. It has to be Bicho. He's done phenomenally. 23 goals from attacking midfield is just nuts. Always a little bit worried about his injury proneness, but we're going to put that to the back of our mind. He has been the best player this year. In terms of most improved player, a player who maybe, surprised me a bit, improved over the season, I think the obvious player to give it to is Pablo Torre, but I don't know if do I want to give it to him? I don't feel like there's been a player who massively kind of shifted in my mind this year in terms of where I valued them. There's been youngsters who have developed quite nicely and we've given game time to players like Martinez, still waiting for their first start at the club, but have developed nicely, but they've not been in the first team. So it sounds a bit boring. It feels a bit weird. I'm just going to give it to Pablo Torre for lack of an alternative option. I think he's had a good year this year. I don't know how much he truly has improved, but he's not got worse. And well, in terms of clubman, a player who I value highly, a player who I think has been really, really good for us this year. Maybe I've not talked about him enough. I'm going to give it to Isma Lopez. just because he's got 11 assists in 33 games. He's 32 years old now. He's not on an insignificant sum of money. There are teams interested. He is the kind of player who I might well be looking to sell in the summer, just because now he is 32. He is going to be 33 next year. He's not getting any younger. In terms of in the B team, we've got Tony Herrera, who, of course, we signed on a freebie last year. He's been developing away whilst playing regular first-team football, whilst I don't know if he's quite as good as Lopez now. Given this situation we find ourselves in, might need to sell players on for money, and I don't think Herrera is necessarily a downgrade, at least defensively, and in terms of longer-term sustainability for the first team, giving a 20-year-old who's not a million miles away a chance in the first team perhaps feels like the play. But Lopez, make absolutely no mistake, this guy's been top drawer. Yes, he's had his issues with injuries. Last year, he wasn't particularly good. I mean, maybe you could give him most improved now I look at it. 9 games he managed to play last year because of all his injuries. He avoided injuries this year. He was top drawer. You know what? I'm sorry, Pablo, give me the trophy back. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap up everything from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this season. I hope you've been enjoying this series. If you have been, drop a like on it. Let me know your player award winners down in the comments. And well, until next time, it is me, Jack. I'll see you next year, and I'll talk to you then. I'm out.